Hi everyone, Nathan here from Mighty Lancer Games. I just wanted to make a little video just to talk about my thoughts on this, the Horus Heresy: Age of Darkness. So this is the new edition of the rules. I've made a little video looking at some of the stuff previous. You might have checked that out. Now, what I wanted to talk about is some of the fuss that is going on online about this game, and particularly the Saturnine box set. We'll put a little image up here. Now, the Saturnine set is the new starter box, the new battle set for Horus Heresy: The Age of Darkness, and it takes things back to the point of the Istvan massacres. So that's the theme. The reason it's called Saturnine is because they've introduced Saturnine Terminators, they've introduced Saturnine Dreadnought that we haven't previously had models for in the universe. So this is the third edition of the game, if you're not aware. This is the third edition. Even says on the back, third edition rules, which is very helpful. But this is the third edition of the game, and previously in the first and second edition we haven't had rules for Saturnine pattern Terminators, or indeed the Dreadnought, or the weapon platform that is incorporated in that Saturnine starter set, or, as far as I'm aware, disintegrator weapons, which the infantry squads can be armed with from the box set. Now, one of the things that I've learned over the past few days from seeing unboxings of that set, because I've merely picked up the rule book, and I've picked up the Traitor Liber from our stock that has been delivered, so I can start reading and I can get a bit of a head start on what's going on. But I don't need the box set because I've already got 2-3 armies worth of Heresy stuff. So I don't need all that new stuff straight away. Might add a Saturnine Dreadnought into my armies, but I don't really need any more models. Definitely don't need to add anything else to the painting queue. But I did want to see what was happening with the rules. But what I've seen of people who have unboxed the starter set, and people that I've talked to who have had first hands on the set, is that starter box doesn't contain rules to use everything in the box straight out of the gate. So although that starter box comes with a copy of the rule book, comes with a copy of the starter rules, what it doesn't include are the rules to use the Saturnine Dreadnoughts and the Saturnine Terminators and the weapon platform. All you get in the box are rules and a playthrough guide to be able to use the basic sort of tactical Marines, the regular legionary squad stuff that is in there, and the other rules aren't there, as they were in the previous Age of Darkness set that came with Marines and a Spartan and what have you. That came with a mini Liber document that allowed you all the rules to know what you were playing with. But this new edition Saturnine, doesn't come with that. So not only do you need to purchase the rulebook, the Saturnine box set, RRP £195, but you also need to purchase the Liber, Hereticus or Astartes, depending on whether you're in Loyalist or Traitor, of your choosing, or if you can't decide, both. Now, that might not be an issue, but just so you're aware, that is the situation. Now, there has been quite a bit of fuss, I'm going to keep showing this, but has been quite a bit of fuss about this and the Astartes book, and I'm sure the Mechanicum and Solar Auxilia focus books will suffer the same from people who have seen PDFs and they've seen leaked copies and what have you on the internet. But there are some units missing from these books. So apparently destroyers, destroyers aren't in here, I can tell you that. Destroyers and certain weapon options. So in our previous video I talked about how my beloved Night Lord's Raptor squads can no longer take Nostraman chain blades, which is crazy. That's how all my guys are armed. They're not in this book. Tartaros Terminators can't have power fists, according to this book. There's some weapon options and loadouts and what have you that are just missing or not in these books. So people have been going mad for the last week. Ah, no, my army is ruined. If you're a White Scars player, you can no longer have an entire jet bike army and be able to claim objectives because your jet bikes are not line infantry. Crazy. However, GW announced yesterday a PDF document which should come out somewhere around launch, said shortly after launch, so hopefully within a couple of days of the launch day for Heresy, which I believe is the 26th of July. So hopefully somewhere around there we get a voluminous, if that's the right word, PDF document that is going to have all of this stuff in. So they've, in the article that they published on Warhammer Community yesterday, it talks about Tartaros Terminator squads being able to have power fists, talks about the destroyers that are missing. For the Night Lords, it mentions Kontakar, Atramentar squad, Alpha Legion is my other favoured army, and Ortilon Score, who is a special character. He is included in the PDF, he was missing from this book. And the Efreet Headhunter squads, speciality Headhunter squad, they're going to be in the PDF, as well as a whole raft of other stuff. And it lists, under every chapter, lists additional war gear options. So hopefully my Raptors will get back chain blades and possibly paired lightning claws. That's the most important one for me. But it just seems odd that they haven't included some things in here. Now, I can't show you until release. I can't show you the contents of this book. That is part of our agreement with Games Workshop as a trade seller of their products, that I can't show you what's in here. But what I can tell you is that on the stat lines for the particular units, that they haven't included. So you get the stat line for the squad, and you get a whole load of keywords, and it tells you what weapons it's armed with. But then you have to go to different parts of the book to look to see what those keywords are, how they work, and look up your weapon profiles. The weapon profiles aren't printed on every page for every unit. Excuse me, which is a little frustrating. But with some of those options missing, they've made it, or they've tried to make it beginner friendly. I understand from the GW article that what they've tried to do is make it so that you can pick up any box set of miniatures that are currently in the range, and then you can build them and use that with the options presented in this book, and then any additional options are going to be covered by the PDF document, which is not great because I only want to take the minimum. I mean, these are chunky books. These are like 2 kilo or more hardback books, and I'm going to have to take both of these to any game that I want to play, and now several hundred page potentially PDF document that will have the rules that I need. But never mind, I love the game, so I will deal with it. However, it'd be nice to have had all of that in the one book. What I envisage for the future is, like they've done the Istvan, put up here, the Istvan campaign book that is due for release at the same time. In the back of there are a couple of data slate type unit listings. What I envisage is that we probably get one of those for each of the legions, and that will break down things a little bit more. Or we get signed 40k style codexes for each of the legions that has all of that legion stuff in, which eventually supersede what's in this Liber document. But they can't release 18 books all at once. That'd be crazy. There's a long-term production scheme at GW, and obviously that can't happen overnight. But they have said that they've got a lot of these campaign books planned, and that different books, so we know that there's potentially or should be, from what we've heard, a Zone Mortalis focused one coming later in the year, and that will probably bring in more detailed units and different entries in there, so breachers and what have you. That'll probably coincide with the release of the plastic breacher kit, I'm guessing. I don't know for example. Don't know for definite. So the main reason I've kind of made this video, I've had a little ramble, I guess, around the subject, but the main reason I'm making this is don't panic. If you are getting mad and thinking that you need to ditch your army, burn your army, whatever, people have been saying all sorts of wild things online. Just based on the contents of this book and the Liber Astartes book, don't panic. There is more support coming. in the future. And I'm sure that when we get some kind of White Scars focused article, for example, there is no reason why you can't claim objectives in some way with jet bikes or land speeders or whatever, or have some type of fast attack option that can claim objectives, so you can play your army in the same kind of way. So the way I used to play my Night Lords is going to be different under this new edition. I'm just going to have to adapt. Some armies are more fluid and relevant than others. The White Scars fast attack full jet bike and land speeder list is going to be hard to adjust, unfortunately. I think that's it's just something that we're going to have to accept. But they've tried to make it beginner friendly. This is a circle back around to my point. They've tried to make it beginner friendly. However, this is a game for experienced players. It started off with Forge World. Forge World's kind of like merged into the mainstream thing now. We don't have Forge World, or we don't recognise Forge World anymore as a separate entity. But this started as a experienced gamers game with extra level of detail. I mean, we look at the stats that they've introduced with these models for this new edition, and they've made it quite complex in terms of like close combat weapons, giving buffs to your various attributes, and the way that they've made the challenge system now, and also it's a very crunchy, detailed game. It's not for introducing new people to the Games Workshop hobby. 40k, Age of Sigmar, perfect for that. Get some stuff, play some Combat Patrol, build your way up to a couple of 1,000-point game. Horus Heresy, with an average game size of 3,000 points and potentially £1,000 or more's worth of models to be able to build that army, is not a beginner-friendly game. I would suggest it is more for experienced players, people who are used to kit bashing and upgrading their models and giving them more flavour, converting them to their vision of the aesthetic of their chosen legion or whatever. Because there are still a lot of units that don't exist, even in the vast range of Games Workshop models. So Salamanders, for example, have a very limited amount of kits available. Night Lords have a very limited amount of kits available. We've got a few upgrade parts still kicking about, but you haven't got a designated Terror Squad kit. Terror Squads are going to be more important now than ever as a line troop, but they don't have a designated kit. There's just some like upgrade parts, if you're lucky enough still to be able to find some of them. So hopefully we will get, over the coming year or years, before we get a 4th edition, because this looks like it's going to be in a 3-year cycle now with 40k and AOS. But hopefully we'll get some plastic kits for some of these Legion specific units that could be pretty cool. We could get some Pyroclasts, some Medusan Immortals. That might be nice for the Iron Hands and what have you. Be really cool to get some designated kits, hopefully in plastic as well, rather than just the resin stuff. But there are certainly some odd choices. Now, you may have seen some content online around different things. So I mentioned in our previous video that Linnean Terminators for the Alpha Legion now get significantly more options than they used to in terms of heavy weapons and weapon loadout options, which is really strange. Why give stuff to some units and take things away from that? Like, because that kit only comes with Volkite chargers. I think they're either chargers or calibers. So Volkite pistol type weapons and power axes, and then the heavy guy with the conversion beamer. But they always used to be able to have a heavy flamer, but it didn't come with the option in the kit. But now they can have all sorts of different weapon options. But that kit is a resin kit, and it only has very limited options. It's very strange. Why? It's like they've kind of done half a job, and then this PDF coming, is that a reaction to all the hate? I mean, we expected that there was a PDF coming with some extra rules and stuff eventually anyway, but have they purposefully cut some of these options, or accidentally, in the terms of Power Fists? And I believe that there's an Iron Hands Terminator Squad Gorgon Terminators that have no ranged weapon capacity in the Liber Astartes. So is it that they have purposefully left them out to put them in the PDF, or have they forgotten to put them in the book? Is it like oversight, and now they've thought, oh, there's like all these people are going mad and what have you, and now they've rushed it into the PDF and put an article out. But that article probably should have come out a week ago and set people's mind at rest. Should it? I think, me personally, I think so. There we go. Little bit of a circular talk about it, but don't panic. The additional rules are coming further down the line, and it might not be exactly what you want. You might have to adapt your play style, but it's not worth trashing your army over. Games change, and if you don't like it, you can carry on playing second edition, can't we? Because that's still there. Or first edition. We've still got all the books for first edition. If you fancy a game of first edition Heresy, that is still an option. So yeah, don't panic. Second edition's still going to be out there. There'll still be people running tournaments with second edition rules, I'm sure. But third edition, let's get some games under our belt and see how it goes. So, just a friendly reminder that we are a shop, mightylancergames.co.uk and in Bridlington, and all of these Heresy items are available on our web store. You may want to head over there and check them out for some very reasonable prices. Free delivery in the UK over £50 as well, and that is well worth it when you consider the weight of these. You could do a little bit of exercise with those, certainly. If this video has been helpful to you, please consider giving it a like and a subscribe for more content coming your way in the future. Thank you very much, everybody. See you all soon.